What's happening? Be right back.
I don't know right now, let me see tomorrow. But honey, smile sometime, yeah, it be some sorrow. Look in the eyes of Marlo and tell me what you seeing. Is he a dope dealer or a trapped human being? It's all about perspective. Watch out for the projection and pray for the neglected. And always show respect it, and then you do it. This is universal wisdom, cosmic with the ism. Yeah, it's too hard for the radio, yeah, it's like I'm pissing. I'm playing digits while I'm getting to the chicken. Get off work and then I'm cooking up some it was written. Yeah, I wanna be heard. Really want you to listen, really want you to think. That's what up and let's get it. It is what it is. No, no, you got it, you got it. I don't do wrong. Let's go, let's go.
Peace, 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 peace. All right. Giving y'all a little sneak peek at some music, man. I've been working on a lot of stuff. I got this song called The Seven. I'll play a little bit for y'all. It's one of my favorites. I'll be doing a little reading from this here.
Check it out. Now see, a long time ago there was one man. And he came to teach Moors who was being called Negroes and blacks too. And you see, it was sort of like this guy, three wise men used to speak about way, way, way back in the day. And he was for love instead of hate. And he stood on 5 principles. It was love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And no disrespect to the 6th guy. But this man here, he was rolling with them 7s. You know it. I know it. Hey, he was rolling with them 7s.
Rolling with them 7s. All right, that's enough. Just some crazy times we in, and doing my best to keep my spirits up, not let the negativity drown me. And so I hope I can spread some of that positive energy your way. If you don't know, I'm Rami. Pleasure for you tapping in. Moorish state of emergency. You know, what should Moors be doing? Should we be out there in the streets? No justice, no peace? Should we be going to grab guns? Bust back? Islam, Islam? You know, should we be burning down, you know, buildings and corporation stores like Target? No. That doesn't ultimately solve anything, in my opinion. But I wanted to read something because I feel it's really powerful and it brings it home. First, I'm going to read from page 16. This is chapter 10. Jesus spake on the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. And I'm going to go down to number 5. Actually, I'm going to read from number 4. The universal Allah is one, yet he is more than one. All things are one. By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. So if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you send a thrill from the center to the outer bounds of life. And when you crush beneath your feet the meanest worm, you shake the throne of Allah and cause the sword of life to tremble in its sheath. The birds sing out its song for men, and men vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ant constructs its home, the bee is sheltering comb, the spider weaves her web, and bowers breathe to them a spirit in their sweet perfume that gives them strength to toil. Now, this is a very important part right here. Now, men and birds and beasts and creepy things are deities made flesh. Men and birds and beasts and creepy things are deities made flesh. And how dare you kill anything? It is cruelty that makes the world awry. And when men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves. When men learns when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves. They surely will not kill, nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. Gotta sit on that one. Gotta sit on that one for a second. When you harm another living thing, you harm yourself. How is that? How is that possible? We all connected, because God is within us all. Allah is within us all. So when you harm a living thing, you're harming a piece of Allah also. This is why right now it's really important for Moors to be leaders, to step up in the front for our people, quote unquote, black people, African Americans, Negroes, people of color, you feel me? This is when we got to step forward and say we got to move with love instead of hate. I know. We angry, we upset. It's not right, it's unjust. But that's not an excuse for us to get into evil, to unleash that anger on other people. It's not for us. Tariq Bey, understood. So, in your question, so be passive, subdued, and taking the abuse. It's always interesting when I speak about love to people, that gets interpreted as you have to be passive and subdued and take the abuse. Why is that? What is it about saying love makes you think that says accept abuse? I don't get when people do that, why they associate that. You can love yourself enough to defend yourself. You don't have to harm someone. You can defend yourself. You don't have to be the aggressor. You don't have to go on an assault. You don't have to seek revenge or vengeance. But you can protect yourself from harm. There's definitely self-defense, multiple, just thousands of martial arts that we can learn, that we can study to defend ourselves physically. They have codes and structures and morals and a discipline, laws, if you will, that you gotta abide by. I'm not saying that that's not love. What I'm saying is, how dare you kill anything? Because all things are deities. The men, the birds, the beasts, and the creepy things. So killing is not an option. How dare you? But I'm not finished. Because he's not done. We're gonna get there. Chapter 3. I want us to think about the idea of seeking vengeance. We need to kill these crackers when people say that. We need to do this, we need to do that, we need to... Chapter 3. There are two selves, the higher and the lower self. The higher self is human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of a higher self distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. The higher self is Allah in man. God in man is the higher self. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. The lower self is truth reversed, and so it is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. Let's hold on for a second before I get to the rest. If the higher self is justice, what are we asking for? Justice, right? The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. What's right? The lower self is what the higher self is not. So the lower self is not justice. It's unjust. The lower self is not right. It's wrong. The lower self is not mercy. It's merciless. The lower self is not love. It is, Let's continue. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. Wait a minute. Let's go back for a second. Wait a minute. It is cruelty that makes the world awry, and when men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves. So when men are harming, they're in their lower selves and they're harming themselves. Let's get back to it. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises. Rich in promises. Oh, yeah, we need to, because when we fight back and oh, yeah, it's going to be on then. Sound like a lot of promises. Sound good. Rich in the promises, the lower self, but poor in blessedness. It's rich in promises. Sound good. Poor in blessedness. And peace. It's poor in blessedness and peace. Aren't we looking for some peace? Oh. Ooh. It offers pleasure. The lower self offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It's rich in promises, but what does it really give? What does the lower self really give? What is harming someone else really, what does that really do for you? Misery, death. That's not what we want. It's not what's right. It's not what's just. Man. Hey, I think I'm gonna stop on that one. So, what am I saying? What am I saying, man? Play a song real quick. This is what I'm saying. I made this the other night. I got a message I want to share with y'all. I appreciate y'all listening. Thank you, truly. It's phenomenal. Come on. Say a long live bunch of good, long live bunch of say a long live bunch of good, long live bunch of say. Hey, yeah, now, I'm saying long live bunch of Carter. And prayers to the families of the fallen martyrs. The babies had to make a way without their fathers. I lost mine a couple years ago. And life is kinda harder now. Police steady making us some targets now. And got my people mad, they wanna eradicate. But God told me to tell my people, no, that's not the way. Ay, to kill another mean you working for the evils. The hella thirsty for a war with the people. The hate, that's the only way to beat us. Cause when we love ourselves, who can see us? So what am I saying, man? I'm saying we need to love ourselves more. I'm saying Moors, this is the time. Right now is the time when we need to speak to our people with love. Not with a I told you so, not with a pompous attitude, not with I'm holier than thou, not with I'm better than you attitude, not that I just am just this spiritual being and I'm just way on this above plane. Now we need to come to our people and explain to them we're not blacks, Negroes, or colors, or African Americans. This is how we start to come together. This is how we unify. This is something that we can do that's not passive, that's not subdued, that will really protect us. And we don't have to harm anyone else. We don't have to pick up a gun, a knife, any sort of weapon. Just pick up a book and teach our people. How crazy a concept is that? Wow. What do you know? How revolutionary, right? Imagine if you take the time, you come with that sincere, genuine, passionate heart, and sit the people down, a couple of people, and explain to them, this is why this is going on. We're being treated this way because we are still classified. We still have a status of a slave, a person that's enslaved. And because of that, because we are civilitiae mortuus, you can bring them to law. You can show them what it means. You can say, this is what it means. This is why we're treated this way. And now what we got to do is start doing for ourselves. Yeah, if you're really about, we need to have a defense and we need to have guns, okay. Bring it together as a nation and volunteer to set up the defense force for the nation. If you're really about that, if that's your real true passion, go that route. Don't just be out in the street, we need to grab weapons and that's not using our minds, man. If you really feel that we have to have a defense force, then work on it that way. Don't just say, I'm about to get a gun and protect my house. That's small-minded, that's individual. We're supposed to be a nation. Collective. If a brother or a sister is in adversity, we're not supposed to just look the other way. It's time to help everybody. And so we got to think on a national scale. It's time to nation build. And that requires us going by law, having principles that we stick by, that we abide by. Love instead of hate. This is part of it. We can't have both. We can't do what we want and say that we want. We got to have our code. That's what makes us who we are. And when we steer away from that, that's when we fall. Let's see what we're talking about. Now's the time we rep who we truly are by what we do, respond to the problem. Yeah. I'm only asking, brother, I'm in the same space. Are we not past the asking phase? Yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking on that one, Tariq, but we don't have to ask anybody to nation build. We can build ourselves. Can any of the brothers reach out to me, please? Someone answers. True teaching, what's going on right now? All right, hold the fort down. Who so you serve? All right, I think we all right then. I didn't see any other questions. If there's any other questions, just resend it. But yes, love is the savior. And love can't come through until we're pure in heart. You know what I'm saying? We got to purify ourselves, man. That means getting rid of the toxins inside of us, that hatred. Love, instead of, we got to choose a different way. And that's not passive. That's not being subdued. It's not easy. It's not easy to love. Matter of fact, while we on that topic, I feel like all Moors should listen to Martin Luther King Love Your Enemies speech. Martin Luther King, if you type in Martin Luther King Jr., Love Your Enemies, November 17th, 1957. It's about a 40-minute speech. But listen to that, man. You know what I mean? I think it's a lot of wisdom in there, you know, in terms of understanding how do you love someone that is showing, you know, that they hate you? How do you do that? How is that possible? You should listen to that brother. Wise brother. You know what I mean? Dropped a lot of jewels. Do you have your bunk? I don't know what you mean. Do you have your bunk? Like a bunker? Is that what you're asking? I don't know if that's what you're asking. And also, if you haven't, read this book. Very important. Quran Circle 7. Just read the things that Noble Drew Ali was speaking and teaching on. The Moorish literature, you know, all of those statements. It's very important in these times. Also, you know, yeah, 1 second. Just so I can be right and exact. Come on, man. Aha. Boom. The oral statements and prophecies. I think what's going on right now is very interesting, and I wanted to make sure I put this on the record for the people, because it's something I need to do better at myself. And I think I talked about it in a video before, and I didn't follow through. I'm trying to find it. It was when he was talking about for us to get food. The food here is just European poison. Nah, that's not the one. I mean, that's important, but man, so I can't find it right now. Hopefully I come across it, but basically, Noble Drew Ali, you know, is quoted as saying that we should have up to 3 months, I believe, of food. And I think right now is especially a good time as any to see, you know, you really should stock up on food. Me, myself, I was trying to go to the store to get some soap and some detergent to wash clothes, man, and all the stores closed early, so I was left high and dry. You know, fortunately, you know, I was just looking for some items that I didn't necessarily need, but it was a sign to me. It was a sign to me that I need to get prepared. You know what I mean? Because things is spinning out of control, spiraling out of control here in the U.S., and you know, you need to be prepared in case things go really, really, you know, left. And you need to be able to, not just a pandemic, but, you know, quote unquote martial law or shelter in place as they're trying to spin it and call it. Yeah, I can't find it, but this is your I would like to say your homework. Check this out. The Oral Statements and Prophecies of Noble Drew Ali. It's a lot of different things in here that's very important. I should have been prepared beforehand, but I was really just going kind of on the fly with it. Yeah, but it's up in here somewhere. I didn't quote it exactly right, but it's, you know, somewhere around there. So my apologies. I like to be there you go. Bang. Ah, there we go. I didn't want to give up on it. Yeah, 90-day supply. Okay, boom. Ah. One day the Europeans are going to lock up food in warehouses, put soldiers around them to guard them, and you will go anywhere, he says, to get something to eat. The next quote, one day the Europeans are going to let you down. You're going to have to put up a 90-day supply of food to last you till your brothers come to your rescue from the east. And then the next one, let me just read this because we right here. One day, some of you Moors are going to be so hungry that you're going to bite into your own flesh and blood will skeet out. And you're going to get angry with yourself because you didn't put enough food up. Come on now. Come on now. Hey, man, I don't know about you. I'm finna listen to what he said, man. I'm not finna be biting my wrist like, God damn, I knew I should have listened. He told us, and Rami reminded us. Didn't even do it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be that. Don't be that more. Don't be that more. You don't want to be that more. But you know, damn, we on here for 30. I didn't realize I was on here so long. I don't have too much more to say other than, you know, to definitely get a 90-day supply of food. Also, boom, right here, you know what I'm saying? Go online. They should be about like $40, $50, $60. Or, you know, if you want, look into the contents of what's in the the backpacks, and then try to piece it together yourself, you know, as you can, and get a little here, a little there. If you don't want to just drop 50 on it or whatever. But you should have some sort of emergency survival backpack. A survival handbook, I'll show you, but the food, survival kits. Also, you should speak with your family and get a number to somebody or couple people that you can reach outside of your state in case it's an emergency, preferably with a landline. Also talk with your family about if it is ever some sort of emergency and the phones and the internet go out, where are we gonna meet up to make sure everybody's okay? If you can't if for some reason the internet and the phone service, everything just gets shut off, for whatever reason, just saying, could happen. Have some sort of idea, okay, this were to ever happen, everybody, we're gonna go here. Cool? No matter where you are. Just, you know, within your family. And you may not need it, but in case you do need it, you want to be prepared and so you're not panicking. That. And honestly, you know, at least for myself, and I would urge other people, learn how to grow your own food. You know, this pandemic has taught me that I am too reliant on grocery stores, like ridiculous. You know, so figure out how to grow something. You know what I mean? And just start with one herb if you got to. You know what I mean? A potato, whatever is the easiest. If you got to, that's where I'm finna start. But get back into getting into the earth and growing our own food, because we have to, as a nation, we need to provide for ourselves. And so we all have to play our part. We all need to get back into the earth and know that knowledge to be able to pass it down to our children and the youth and the next generation. With that, man, I ain't really have much else to say. Appreciate y'all, tapping in. I was kind of late. I'm not sure where y'all at, but it's about midnight on this side. Yeah, he told us over 100 years ago. This is true. This is true. You know what I mean? You double the 90-day supply of food and water. Hey, man, you own it. I gotta catch up. I'm not on it in that respect. Boston, what's happening in Boston, Beantown? Ah, I like it out there. It reminds me much of San Francisco, um, downtown Boston. Anyways, um, there's one more thing I just had in my mind that I wanted to tell you. Oh, duh. I'm hearing the helicopters. These protests. Duh. These protests, man. I was out there in the Oscar Grant uprisings, what they call the riots. And I saw firsthand how it was a small group of people on this one couple of streets burning garbage cans, and the press was getting footage. And I went home, my phone ran out of battery. I get home and CNN, Oakland riots and there's fires and this. And I said, oh, whoa, the propaganda is real. And then I seen it duplicated in Ferguson, and there's people in St. Louis that was echoing the same thing, that there was out. It was a peaceful protest, and all of a sudden it was this group of people that was masked up in all black and started busting windows and breaking things. And all of a sudden it was called riots out there, and the press just ran with it. And I kept seeing this same narrative over and over. And here we are again. And you probably have seen footage of the guy busting the windows, and there was another dude in the pink, and he had the umbrella trying to get him to stop. And all of a sudden, it's what you see, the fires, and all of a sudden, it's again and again and again. What I would urge Moors to do, and to communicate to our people, stay out of them quote-unquote riots, those protests. Use this time to think critically, to study law, to study strategy. Um, uh, Matter of fact, I was supposed to get to this, the census. Matter of fact, I'll end with this. Rather than use your time to be out in the streets and most likely be assaulted by, some sort of police agency and them shooting tear gas or non-lethal projectiles, etc., getting arrested, rather than do that, which doesn't produce the change that we want, take this time to study with your people. Create small study groups. Get into the house. Figure out, okay, what do we want to do? What is a goal that we want to achieve right now? And then figure out what are the steps to make that happen. I'm looking at the census. If we're going, if we're going to stay here, if we're in the U.S., if we're going to stay here, then we need to use the systems to our advantage. We need to really think critically and strategically how we move. And if you're going to stay here, if you're going to operate in this system, then we need to examine the census and see how we can identify as Moorish Americans so that we can get more official recognition, if you will. If we're going to stay here. If we're not going to stay here, let's bounce and go to another country where they will be willing to accept our identity and won't be labeling us as Negroes, blacks, and colors, and African Americans, and whatever. But if we're going to stay here, one of the main things we need to get off of us is those enslavement labels. And the census is a key way I think that we can use as a tactic to help us achieve some goals. So I would say let's study what the census is, how we can use this to create funds for Moorish Americans, perhaps. There's probably something in there that we can use to our advantage if we think critically. If not, if we just get upset and no justice, no peace, fuck police, if that's what we doing, you know what I mean? All right, I'm out. Cause I've been there. I did that. I saw what that yielded. Not much. So I mean, it's time we use and know the law, and I'm kind of hungry, and proclaim who we are. Listen to what Noble Drew Ali said. And a matter of fact, I was thinking about it. I may you know, depending upon what's going on tomorrow, I may just go out to the lake in Oakland and just start teaching people. You know what I mean? So you may catch me out tomorrow with the feds, just walking around the lake teaching people. But now's the time. So wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, if you're a Moor, I mean, we're all Moors, but if you're aware that you're a Moorish American, if you're aware that you're a Moor, now is the time when you got to step up and be a leader to the people in your community, to your cipher, to your clique, your crew. Be like, I know what y'all thinking. I done heard, you know, I get it. Y'all think the feds is crazy, whatever people done said about you. But come with your heart, you know what I mean? Speak from your heart and say, hey, man, let's try it. Let's listen to this. Because look at how we've been being treated with these European names on us and identifying ourselves as black, which means Negro, which means slave. How about we listen to what this guy said that inspired the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X and all of these leaders that we are holding up and saying that we honor? It's my thoughts anyway. You know what I mean? I'm about to push love, you know what I mean, through this music and through these videos, because I know killing and hatred and the violence, that ain't the answer. That's not solving anything. That's not gonna free us. It's not gonna liberate our people. You know, hate only begets more hate. It's very simple, man. Love instead of hate. And Obadrelli said it, man. We just gotta follow the footsteps, man. Follow the path. It's really that simple. Thank y'all for tapping in. Any more questions before I get up out of here? Oh, send my census off Asiatic Moorish as Edney. I mean, that's cool. You know, I would say, why not send it off as Moorish American? You know, that's my thing is why I try to reinvent the wheel. This dude, Drew Ali, clearly knew some shit. He clearly knew a lot. And this is before Google and the internet and any of that. He had the game sold up. So probably should listen to what my man was talking about. It's my thoughts, you know? Detroit, Denver here, Los Angeles. Oh, what's happening, man? What's happening? Provocateurs, yeah. Chicago. What's happening, Chicago? Chi-Town. Love Chicago also. For real, for real. Beautiful place. Knowledge is power. It was 2 questions. What was the 2 questions? Oh, that's why. Is that why you said Asiatic and also Moorish? And what is the purpose of the Caucasian? I don't know, man. TCB, holla at a lie about that one. You know what I mean? That's above my pay grade, G. You know, in the Quran, you know, I know it says that we were split up to nations and tribes so that we could learn and understand each other, something to that effect. So, I would presume, you know, it's part of learning and understanding each other. It's my guess, but I don't know. You know what I mean? New York in the house. What's happening? What's happening? Oh, man. What shit? New York here. Hold on, man. New York here since y'all up. And since I got the, you know what I mean? Tribe called Oakland on this thing. I'll play a little something else, man. This one I like this one a lot.
Right now we in Harlem. Yeah. From the 125, let's get it.
Tucson, Arizona.
We coming right from the relax. Now get your hands sideways, man. Check it out. Now, I wrote this on sabbatical. You know a lot is going on and it is tragical. We need a miracle. A lot is magical. Are you a Muslim? It's sort of factual. I say what's happening to the Muslims. Assalamu alaikum. We know it's way more to the fake. We just not eating bacon. You gotta do the knowledge and get up on your studies. A rich lady say it's more to life than making money. You see a pool where it's sunny, but it ain't no. Snapping yellow out, meal was fitted over Kango. Just got paid. The twisting up thinking I was saying name, but I think she took me. Big up to Staten Island, shout out to Queens. I'm loving how my Harlem people do their thing. Now get your hands high. We coming live from the 125. Now get your hands high.
One time for Harlem, man. I'm gonna come out there and film this video.
I say get your hands up, get 'em up. We coming live from the west, light 'em up.
It's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Get 'em up. We coming live from the west, like why? One time for the west. That's one time for the east. One time for the west.
I'm not trying to front. I'm not posing. Like, my natural life looks like a fucking movie.
Right.
So at any time, I've never had a problem. I ran around the world and opened up galleries all over the world. Like, I got D172 in Tribeca, Poppington, and Lower East Side. I got one in Burbank, one in Hong Kong, Po Hung Fong.
Yeah.
No one ever wants to talk about that.
Right.
All the cultural things. I'm the DNA of what I want the culture to be at some point, and I want us to be tasteful. I want us to be evolved.
Right.
I want us to deal with things like men, not emotion. I want us to really be rich, not look rich. I want us to be friends. I want us to stick together. I want us to take care of our kids. I want us to take care of our women. I want that to be cool. I want selling out to be sucker shit. I want looking the other way to be sucker shit.
Yeah.
I want treating women bad to be sucker shit. I
Right.
want fucking with little girls to be sucker shit. I don't want people to be fucking with people even though they do fucked up shit. Looking the other way gotta stop. You gotta be accountable.
Got to be accountable, baby. Got to be accountable. And one of the biggest things on being accountable, man, we got to hold our leaders and, you know, these people that are claiming to be about the people. Nationality, man. If you're not talking about nationality, you're misleading the people, man. We got to hold you accountable. Please just move to the side. Let somebody that's talking about building us as a nation step up. I mean, my thoughts anyway. Yeah, but I'm about done with. I just seen the NYC, so I said let me play that 125 for you. I don't got nothing for Arizona, but shout out to Arizona. Can you get me out there? I don't know. Oh, I was talking to each other. All right, any other questions? If not, I think I'm gonna go ahead and dip out of here. Going once, going twice, 3 times. Cool. Love instead of hate, man. Love instead of hate. Spread the love. Teach our people that don't know that we're Moors. Yeah. That's all I got. Peace and love.